And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to lunchtime. I see we've got folks at the table, and that's a great thing. And it's always fun to be able to get together with those you care about. And it's certainly fun to get together with friends and to talk about whatever is going on. Um, it's been an interesting weekend and into the week. So we're going to do the best we can. The weather has changed on us. And as you can hear, I kind of have a frog. So hopefully the frog will not interfere with our conversation today. We're going to talk about some of those things that need to be done between now and Thanksgiving. Can you believe that Thanksgiving is hello? Thanksgiving is only a matter of a few days, just a week out or so. And, when you think about that, I don't know, I tend to get just a little bit anxious even though I've planned, I know exactly what I need to do. And that's where I want you, because we all have that tendency to have that last minute jitter. But, if you have prepared well, then, you can get through the jitters. Hello. And you can do what you need to do. Now, I am just so glad. Oh, good. We've got quite a few who are jumping in, and I'm glad to see you. Now, let's see if I can get the right one in. Yep, we are in the season of giving, and I think Thanksgiving certainly gives us a chance to think about giving. And as we think about giving and caring and loving those that are close to us, we're either doing it by way of food or you may even volunteer somewhere at a soup kitchen, or you may be the one preparing the soup. That's always a lot of fun to be able to go in and actually do the cooking for those who need food. I love the holidays because that's a chance when our homes are filled with noise and laughter, little ones running around. The husbands are doing their thing. And of course, the ladies are in the kitchen chit chatting it up. And all of that is always a great time. And I'm sure it is for you too. But you know what? In addition to that, if we, excuse me, have not planned well, then there may be a few things that we forget. Now, how many of you who are here today, how many of you have company coming in? When I say company, now I'm not talking about your normal everyday family, and I'm talking about someone additional who's coming to your home who's not there every day. So if you have guests who are coming to your house, and that includes, if your mom or dad doesn't live with you and they're coming for the holiday, they're considered as guests. And so let us know in the description box, in our conversation box, whether or not you're having guests. And it could be someone that you've just invited over for the holiday because you didn't want them to be by themselves. And so, as we're thinking about some of those things, let's talk about this. This week, this week is our week to make that final grocery list. This is, you already know what you're going to serve, right? You have hopefully already picked up your turkey. And if you haven't, this is the week to do it. Get that turkey in your refrigerator. Um, if you're going to have a ham or a lamb or some kind of roast, get it in the house. We want to make sure we have as much in the house as we possibly can. And so you could even, I think, the one thing that usually gets forgotten around our house is ice. And very often, with ice makers on the refrigerator, you might be able to start saving ice, but most of the time you can't because that real estate in your freezer is going to get taken up with all of the Thanksgiving things that you've been doing. So, what I like to do is to someone who's coming who may be single, um, or like a son, excuse me, our nephew who may be coming and they say, okay, well, Aunt Leona or Aunt Deb or Aunt Rachel or whomever it is, they may say, what do you want me to bring? So I usually designate that person to pick up a couple of bags of ice. And so that means that you're going to need to have your coolers all cleaned out so that on Thanksgiving, those coolers are ready to receive the ice. And you want all that done early this week. Get those coolers clean, designate who's bringing the ice. If you haven't designated as to who's going to cook what, you certainly need to get that done this week. Now, I'm going to say, don't be like me because I have that tendency. And I'll say, okay, I'm going to let so and so do it, but then I'll go ahead because I'm thinking, they may not bring enough, and so I'll go ahead and cook an additional amount just to add to what they have. So don't do that. Don't do that. Just say to them, I need for you to prepare this amount. And you may even want to show them a dish and say, this is about the size dish that I want you to prepare. So if you have someone who's making macaroni and cheese for your group, and you have a really healthy size group, you may even decide to have two people make macaroni and cheese. Now, we've done that because we've had such a big group where each person who's going to do the mac and cheese, and everybody's got their own recipe for macaroni and cheese, but they're going to bring their size macaroni and cheese unless you designate to someone else. Now, hold on one second. Let's see. A funny thought here for a minute. Has anyone thought of putting the drinks outside in a cooler with the flap open? Sometimes outside is colder than the fridge. You know what? I have done that. I have done that. But of late, our weather at Thanksgiving has not been cold enough here to be able to do that. But I can remember when we lived more Midwest. Yeah, definitely. I could put drinks outside, and I knew, and certainly by Christmas, definitely we can put those drinks outside. And then you have to be careful because you don't want them to freeze. So it really just depends on what part of the country that you're from. Let's see. All right. Duncan, party of six. She says, we're planning to have dinner with my mother's side this Sunday. Oh, that's nice for an early Thanksgiving celebration. Oh, that's going to be a good time. And however, oh, no. She said COVID decided to visit our house this past week, and you're still recovering. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. You are not the only one. I just spoke to a couple of people who they had been just healthy, not a problem. And this week, they came down with that Omicron variant that's been going around, and it whipped through their entire family. So it has really put things on hold for them. And certainly, you don't want to, if you have some seniors in your group, you definitely don't want to take a chance on spreading any of that to them. So those are things, unfortunately, isn't that awful that here we are right here at the holiday and it raises its ugly head. Darn COVID, bad COVID, in coming around at the holiday season. It should know better than that, right? But we have to adjust whatever it is that we're going to have to do. Now, some things I've done is that I tried to I finished up the decorating, And you could decorate for Thanksgiving if you haven't already done that. But we typically um, have Christmas set up for our house for Thanksgiving. And the reason for that is because when our relatives come, we know that we're not going to see them at Christmas time. So I usually have the house decked out for Christmas. I even to the front porch. I know my neighbors are looking at me going, "Are you serious?" And yes, I am. And I have all the Christmas ready to go. And so, it gives you a chance to celebrate both holidays while your family is here and while your guests are here. And that's a good time. And, another thing I like to do is that, and I've done this, oh, geez, for many years, is that I put the ornaments for our big tree, the main tree. I put those ornaments in a location and I let the kids decorate. I I love beautiful trees. Let me say this. Let me clarify this so no one gets upset. I love beautiful trees. And I love those decorated, blinged out trees. Love it. But it's nice to have one tree that the kids can enjoy. And so, what I usually do is that I'll lightly decorate the top because I know how tall the tallest child is. And once it starts with that, comes down to that height, then it's on the kids to do the rest of the tree. And I don't change it. Whatever way they decorate it, it's done. It's done. That's their tree. They decorate it. I put the kids around it. We take a nice picture. We even pull in the family, do a family photo. And, it gives them an opportunity because, sometimes in all the hustle and bustle of holiday meals, that, the kids are going la, 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 la. They're a little bored. And, you got football on the television. Well, most of them could care less about football. I usually set up games somewhere, but in between that, what they really like to do is to come and decorate the tree. So that's what they have the opportunity to do. Now, what I also like to do is to if I have time, and I'm clarifying that if I have time, then I will also do the basic gingerbread cookie and then have the frostings available and they can decorate their own gingerbread man or girl, whichever they decide to do. So that's a lot of fun. It gives them something to do. You give them a table and they can either decorate their cookies, they can decorate the tree, they've got games that they can play. And and the nice thing is that the older children can keep the younger children going. And so that's fun. I see quite a bit. Let's see. Hello, hello. Um, oh, I'm looking here. Let's see. She said, although if Miss Rona does show up, at least there will be food made. That's the truth. There will be some food for everybody to eat. And, we had that to happen last year at Christmas. And in fact, we got to Christmas Eve, didn't know it was creeping around. And darn if the next day after Christmas, there were about five of us who were down for the count and not feeling very well. But it passed very quickly, and that's a good thing. Uh, Denise is saying she likes the idea of the kids decorating the tree. She says she thinks she'll use her small one this year. Maybe she's and it's just nice. They have something special to do and they'll have a picture to be able to look and remember what they've done and see what they've done. Yes, I do have a cold. I do have a cold. I am fighting it. The baby's got a cold, and I have. I went outside. We had 70 degrees yesterday. Well, I'll take that back. 70 degrees the day before, and by yesterday the temperature plunged. So, not knowing this until I was outside in my shirt, I had on long sleeves, but shirt and long sleeves, was not really dressed heavy enough. Well, you know what happened. I came down with whatever this is, nasal, that's going on. And so if I sound like a frog, I'm apologizing now, because it is certainly not fun, not fun. But I'm fortunate in it. I feel fine. I just sound terrible. Now, let's talk about the turkey. Now, I'm going to make some assumptions at this point, because I'm going to assume that your turkey is in your freezer. And I certainly hope that's the case, that if you had not already gotten it, that at least by this weekend, you went and picked up your turkey and or whatever roast or ham or whatever it is that you're going to prepare for Thanksgiving Day. And I'm saying this for several reasons. Number one, you want to make sure you have it. It's always good to know that you have what you need in your freezer ready to go. Now, so it's going to take probably about 3 to 4 days to thaw your turkey. It usually takes about 1 full day of thawing for every 4 pounds of your turkey weight. Now that's according to the turkey gurus in the sky, the turkey specialists. And they figure 1 full day of thawing for every 4 pounds of your turkey weight. Well, let's see, I picked up a 25-pound turkey. So just figuring that's going to take a while for that to thaw. So I had already purchased the turkey. So I'm going to actually take mine and put it in the refrigerator around Thursday this week. And the reason for that is because I actually want it to be thawed a little bit in advance. Because what I need to do is to be able to open it up, clean it, get all the giblets out, and then put it into its apple cider brine. And I want it to brine about 48 hours. So that's the reason you want to make sure, and do remember this. Don't do what I did with my first turkey. My first turkey, I got my mom had reminded me. She said, be sure to get the giblets out. So I thought I had gotten all the giblets out until I got up there to the neck. And guess what was up there at the top? There was the neck stuck up at the top. And so he got baked in there. And so, excuse me. So that's something that I'm giving you the red flag. Don't forget. Check each end of the turkey. Check the top of him, check the bottom of him, and get him nice and clean. And just, kind of rinse him off well. And in your brine, whether you use the apple cider or not, you want to put it in a good salty brine. Salt, sugar. Those are the two things that I use. Salt and sugar when I'm not using the apple cider. And even if with the apple cider, I have to add some salt usually, and I have to add a little bit of sugar into that. It just depends on the apple cider. Um, let's see. Let me go here. Uh, Rachel, right? That's a totally different perspective. I got to check with the boss lady, and snag one. Yep. Got to do it. Got to do it. Got to get it. Uh, Elizabeth says she's going to be traveling to Boston. I'm in California for Thanksgiving. Two of her daughters live there, and she's looking forward to being. She's going to get to be the guest. Oh Lord, that's going to be fun at Thanksgiving dinner and experiencing cooler weather. Yep, you're right. You're right. It's going to be much cooler. But I don't know about you. When I go to visit my daughters, I think I work just as hard as they do because I know they've had a lot going on. So I typically take my apron and they laugh because I come in with the apron and it's like, okay, what can I do? What do you need? Where can I start? And now I don't do the cleaning. I'm not going to do the cleaning, but I will work in the kitchen. And you do have to be careful when you're visiting and going to a place where the temperatures are going to change drastically from what you're used to, because what you don't want to do is to come home sick with a cold, some type of cold. So keep that in mind and take the clothes that you need in order to stay nice and warm. Or in some cases you might, if you're going to an extremely warm place, then you want to make sure that you take cool, cold clothes for when you come back and the warm clothes for while you're visiting. Now, Denise is saying she needs to get one. She thought she had one in the freezer, but looking in the freezer today, there is no turkey there. Oh, Denise, I thought you had yours too. So this week, don't wait. Make sure that you can catch those deals that are out there for that turkey and get a nice one because some of them look very nice, and certainly you don't want those prices to change. Now, let me also mention this. If you're going to purchase turkey and you're going to be serving both Christmas and, I mean, both Thanksgiving and Christmas, then I know we normally do turkey at both holidays. It is one of the meats, and we may certainly add a roast or we've done short ribs, we've done a standing rib roast, but the turkey sandwiches are always great. So I usually pick up two. And plus, if you don't need it at Christmas, it's nice to have that turkey in your freezer for when, say, a birthday comes along later into the new year. Then you've got that turkey sitting right there, and that's something you can use. You can make turkey salad. It certainly makes wonderful sandwiches. There's just all kinds of things that you can do with that turkey. So be sure that as you're looking, and if you get a really good price, then you may want to pick up two if you can do that. Also, let's see. Oh, you're in South Bay, and the days are really nice and mild, but the nights are breezy and cold. Okay, okay. Um, So, if your nights are breezy and cold and you're going to a chillier place, then certainly you're going to want to make sure that you have a variety of clothes as you go. And that will help to keep you well because you just don't want to catch a cold. This is not the time to get a cold. And take it. Take it from me. I know this is not good. Now, I was thinking about Thanksgiving week. And for those of you who get the newsletter, you're going to be receiving some things that I thought about. I'm also going to include some recipes that something different from what you normally have on Thanksgiving. Plus, I thought about, this week and next week, this is your time to have those quick and easy one pot meals. And I don't know how many of you have had a chance to go to my to look in the content, but if you look in the content and you go to the section that says one pot meals, then you're going to find a slew of one pot meals because if you're cleaning and you're preparing guest rooms and you're doing all of those fun things, fun things. Then you're decorating. Then you're going to want to try to have a one pot meal so you can serve the family. They're nice and full and happy, and it gives you a chance to do something else, either using your slow cooker or, of course, doing it right there on the stove. And Saturday, I showed you the harvest chicken. Oh my goodness, it was delicious. And it was so easy to put together. Now, of course, if you have more people, then you could certainly kick that up and add. I can't remember who it was. Someone sent in the comments. She was thinking already about some things that she could add to that recipe. And after I prepared it, I did the same thing. I thought about, oh, I like that. Now, Mystical Heart, I see your question. And all you have to do is shoot me an email and I'll put you on the list. Okay? Shoot me an email. Now, and I will certainly get you on there today. Um, one other thing is to think about in advance and a couple of days out before the holiday is that if you have done what I did, I prepared the macaroni and cheese. So it is already in the freezer. I've done the dressing already in the freezer. So about a day or so out, I need to put those into the refrigerator so they can start to thaw. Now, you're going to laugh because what I'm going to do is that I'm going to show you what I did. Hold on, I'm going to switch this out. And while we're talking, we're going to take a look because one of the biggest things that sometimes we forget to do is that we've got to clean out our refrigerator. And I had looked at that refrigerator and I thought, oh, not a problem. But the reality of it is that we're going to want to make sure that our refrigerators are nice and clean. So if I don't make you dizzy in the process, you will see that I'm cleaning out my refrigerator. Wanted to make sure that was done. Uh, okay, Deb. Uh, hold on. Let me go up here and then I'll come back to Deb. An easy one pot that Anderwell does is that she likes a ramen pork and mushroom. You do it on high heat, add water, oyster sauce. Ooh, that sounds good. Butter, and then the ramen packet, and turn the heat down to low and leave it to soak and cook until everybody's ready to eat. Oh my goodness, that is so easy. And certainly you can add enough ramen packages for however many people that you're going to be serving. And that is just so good. So you all be sure to go up there and check that out. Um, One thing that we can't recommend, and Deb, you're absolutely right. I do not put my thawed turkey on the deck overnight to keep it cool. She said, now this is her story. She said that her hubby did that once, had the cover on, and when they got up that morning, her turkey stuck in the rungs of the deck, partially eaten, was stuck in the rungs of the deck, partially eaten. So some varmint had gotten her turkey. Oh, that is too funny. That sounds like the Christmas story when the dogs came in and grabbed that turkey and took off with it. Deb, what a hoot. I bet I bet you and your hubby laugh about that all the time. Of course, I'm sure you weren't laughing at that point, but that is a story certainly that should go down in the book because you know uh, you just don't think about that. You don't think about that somebody would go in there and take your turkey out, but it happens. It happens, and whatever that was had to be a substantial size to carry off that turkey. Oh my goodness, I would have been so devastated to know that my turkey was eaten by something. She said, a raccoon got into the cooler and tried to steal it. So she said they ended up grilling brats because that's what she had. I understand. I understand. So that is just too funny. I'm sorry to laugh at your at a bad situation, but it's 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 good to know that there are we have all done things that you thought was going to be a good idea. It sounded like a good idea, and it certainly felt like a good idea. But you know what? It sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. And one thing I'm doing here is that I have wiped off the shelf, and I'm in the process of really doing a couple of things. I'm trying to make sure that the jars and all those things are wiped off so that you don't have the little sticky stuff. You know how you get sticky stuff on the bottom of your jars, and trying to get all of that cleaned up. I have rye flour that I'm showing you, and that rye flour I do keep in my refrigerator. I keep the rye flour in there. I keep my yeast either in the refrigerator and mostly in the freezer, but I do have a little bitty jar that I keep of yeast in the refrigerator. But my perfect spot for yeast is in the freezer. Um, you'll see later that in addition to just cleaning off the shelves, this week is your time to actually stop, go through everything in that refrigerator. Because if your refrigerator is anything like mine, it has little containers. I had a container of like a quarter of an onion that was stuck in there. I had a container of some bacon grease that was stuck in there. I had some things that were in there that just needed to be thrown out. So I went through and I made sure that you can see the refrigerator is not real happy with me being in there, but that's okay. Um, but I made sure that I went through and threw out anything that wasn't really important at this point to Thanksgiving. So any little small packages of cheese that had dried up and the ends had dried up, then I got rid of that. Any little packages of, sometimes you stick small amounts of things in the refrigerator and you're thinking at that time, oh, I'll be able to use this at another time. And unfortunately, what happens is that you don't, you forget. It keeps getting pushed farther and farther to the back of that refrigerator. So that's what I'm doing. I'm kind of going through and trying to get that done. Denise is talking about the raccoons. We had a raccoon family talking about raccoons, and they do have hands just like people. And, and they are persistent little rascals in that anything they want to get into, I promise you, they will. They will. I'm expecting any day to walk out and see them stacked on each other's shoulder trying to get over into something. But raccoons are very persistent. Um, and you don't have to live outside of town, which she said she lives in town. In town, that was when we found out that a raccoon was in your neighborhood. You know, it happens. It happens. They find their way into places. They're hungry, and they are just looking and hoping for the opportunity to snack on something that you might have put out, whether it's in your trash. We have walked out many a time and had a raccoon stuck in our trash can. So that's something to think about too. All right. So, like I said, I'm in the process of cleaning out that crazy refrigerator and also throwing away some of the things that we really at this point don't need. I try to pick up my fresh vegetables. So those are some of those things. So you either want to cook or put together one of the dishes each night. And I didn't have time, but I had planned to show you. I purchased my greens, and I went ahead and got them nice and clean, got them cut up, and they're in the bag and they're in the freezer. So I didn't cook them. I didn't cook them. Now, sometimes I do, but at that particular moment, I didn't have time to do that. So I just made sure they were blanched. I made sure, all those things were done. And so I'm going to bring those out about a day or so in advance and just pop them right. I will probably do them on the stove and go ahead and cook those greens and get them done. Then that way I know they are in the refrigerator ready to go. And probably I'll do that on Wednesday. Take care of the greens and get those cooked, as well as the green beans. And how many of you actually prepare your own cranberry relish rather than using the canned relish? Now, I'm gonna be honest, I love, I can get a spoon, open a can of cranberry sauce, and I can sit there and eat the whole thing. I love cranberry sauce. And but I like fresh made cranberry relish or cranberry salad. Some of those salads you make with cranberries, involve the jello and all of those good things, and you can put those together. And you might have a particular congealed salad that your family loves. We used to have a friend who we were always together at Thanksgiving, and she prepared this orange congealed salad, and it had you're going to love this. It actually, I didn't know this at the time, but it actually included cottage cheese in it. But you didn't know that because by the time it got in, it was mixed up with jello and all the other goodies that went into it. You had no idea that, and the kids ate it like crazy. But then you hand them some cottage cheese and they'd look at that and go, I'm not eating that. But in this salad, I would always say, you ate Miss So and so's orange salad. And they look at me like, yes, that was really good. But they do not like cottage cheese by itself. And of course, I buy small curd versus the large curd to try to, work through that. But anyway, those congealed salads. This is a great time if you're a Sam's Club member or Costco member. You can certainly pick up your pumpkin pies or your apple pies. Sometimes they might even have cherry pies if you like cherry pies. I'm not a fan, but some people do. So now's the time to go ahead and pick those up, because if you wait too late, they probably won't be there. Another thing to think about is the fact that um, our pies, if you buy them early, you can actually wrap them well. Those pumpkin pies, sweet potato pies freeze wonderfully. And so that's a chance to go ahead and pick those. Hi, Carol. Uh, that's a chance for you to be able to pick those up, put them in, wrap them well, put them into the freezer, and the day ahead, go ahead, take them out and let them thaw. So you can just maybe about a few minutes before dinner, run them into let them sit in the warm oven and get warmed up. Now, the breakfast casserole. Dun, dun, dun. Well, that's coming up. I'm going to be preparing a breakfast casserole for you that I like. Oh my gosh, there are so many different casseroles that are out there. There are breakfast casseroles that include French toast. And breakfast casseroles for the most part are very easy to put together. But what I usually do is to actually, the night before, is that I get a large, now depending on the size of the casserole you need to make, um, you'll either want to use a gallon size bag or a 2 gallon size bag. Go ahead, whip up your casserole and all of its goodies, pour it into that bag. and sit it in the pan that you're going to use that next morning. Go ahead, put it in the refrigerator. Remember, we cleaned it out. So you're going to put it into the refrigerator so that it can stay nice and cool overnight. And the next morning, you just have to empty the bag, put it in the oven. As the turkey comes out, put the breakfast casserole in, and it's ready to go in about 40 minutes or so. Now, the apple pie muffins, or if your family likes cinnamon rolls, um, any breakfast item. If your family's more of a donut type of family, that's something that you could set up. I was talking to a young lady the other day, and we were talking about the holiday, and it was so much fun because her house is set up for Christmas, and man, it just felt like I was in the middle of the winter wonderland. And it was nice to talk to someone who's a young mom and who is a stay-at-home mom. She just happens to be she hasn't always been a stay-at-home mom, but she just happened to be a stay-at-home mom. And it was fun to get her perspective on some of the things that we're doing. And she certainly uh, is doing a lot of what we're doing. And so she was talking about the fact that they love breakfast casseroles, and we even I was showing her how to make biscuits. And so I was telling her that she could put the biscuits together, she could freeze them, and then take them out that morning, run them into the oven, and let them cook. And to have the fragrance, the smell of those fresh baked um, um, mm, having a moment. Fresh baked bread going throughout your house, permeating your house, whether it's the apple pie muffins, whether it's the biscuits, or whether it's the breakfast casserole. I promise you, you will not have to worry about anyone getting up that day because they're going to hit the floor as soon as they can smell all the good things that are coming out of your oven. Um, have a place, whether it's a table, have an area kind of off to the side if possible, where you can place your breakfast items, as well as maybe you might want to relocate your coffee pot or your teapot or both, and give them an area where they can get their coffee, prepare their tea. And that's another thing, you want to make sure you have tea, you want to make sure you have sweeteners and honey, all those kinds of things set up on your bar, ready for breakfast. And once you're going to do double duty with that breakfast area, because once everybody has finished with breakfast, then that area is going to get cleared, and that is going to become your dessert area, because you do know that some people like to have coffee with their dessert. So the coffee pot is there. I have a friend who always loves to have hot tea. So the teapot is there, cups are there, and that gives you an opportunity to be able to clear breakfast and get that out of the way, and to have that same area already designated for desserts. So that's a place where they can go. So you're going to want to do that. I suggest on Wednesday morning, get all of that coffee station and breakfast area all set up so that you can certainly have that ready to go. And, in thinking about that, as much as you can get finished the night before Thanksgiving, you're going to be a happy girl or guy on Thanksgiving as your home cook. Think about this week. Start to make a list of those things that you can designate certain family members to do. If you know that you're going to have a guest or two at your house, we never have a guest or two. We usually have an entourage that comes in. But I know that that all the bedrooms are going to be filled, the floor is going to be filled with sleeping bags, the works. So I know Monday, I've got to make sure that I run the vacuum, take care of all of that because the heavy cleaning was done last week. So this week, I just have to do the light stuff and make sure that it's ready. And they usually come and spend about, a long week. We'll say a long weekend with us. So that's an opportunity because you have a few extra hands to do some cooking. Um, so designate, have someone who's responsible for going into the guest bathroom and making sure that the towels are clean and that they've been switched out, that the soaps are there, that all of the soaps are filled, all those kind of things. Have a designated person to do that. Now, if you're like our house and there's just the two of us, you know who the designated person is. That's me. So I just have to make sure that I put it down on my checklist. Now, the big guy will do big stuff, but those kind of little things he doesn't usually do. He will make sure that if you want to use, everybody doesn't do this, but when I have a lot of people, then typically I try to make sure that there's paper towel in there, and especially since COVID, rather than using those hand towels in the bathroom, we have switched that out to using paper towels so people can dry their hands, throw them into the trash, and have a designated person that every now and then they'll go around with a bag and empty the cans to make sure that they're not running over. So keep that in mind. So those are things that you want to keep moving. Now, I also thought about you and I. By the time we get officially into the last 7 days prior to Thanksgiving, the hustle and bustle is really going to pick up because there are things we need to do. Every day there's going to be something that we're going to want to do just to make sure that we're not at the last minute doing it. Now, how many of you like to have your nails looking nice? This is the perfect week to be able to go to a salon, sit down, get a mani pedi, and relax because you already know that next week is going to be crazy. So get your mani pedi this week done. Done. And um, also Wednesday night prior to Thanksgiving, that's going to be the time where you're going to want to just go in the bathroom, shut the door, get a relaxing bath or shower. That's going to be your time because when Thursday comes and your feet hit the floor, it's not going to stop until the end of the day. And that's being realistic. The hustle and bustle is on at that point. So it gives you a chance to have your nails done. They look nice. There's just something about when your hands and your feet look nice, you're always, it just gives you a lift. Gives you, and even if you do it yourself, but you want to, I like going and having somebody else do it. I've got everything else to do. So I want them to do it. Excuse me. Also, taking that nice, relaxing bath or shower, it's kind of like Calgon, take me away. That's that quiet time to be able to just go in and not worry about anything else other than relaxing. And you want to do that if possible just before you're going to go to sleep that night. You do want to make sure that you try to get a good night's sleep because Thursday's going to be demanding. Even though you have made all of those plans, you have followed your plan to the letter. But There's work to be done, you know? And so, because of that, we have to look out for us. We've got to look out for ourselves and make sure that we've taken care of mama and daddy, whomever the home cook is, the homemaker is, because if we're not relaxed and happy, nobody's going to be relaxed and happy. And that's a definite. So think about that as you're planning these next few days. Take some time for you because that's valuable. That's valuable. Michelle's saying that her 15-year-old son has been making their cranberry sauce since he was about 8 or 9. Her aunt doesn't like cranberry sauce, but she loves her sons. How about that? He takes it to her aunt's house, and we never have any left. Oh my goodness, you're going to have to share that recipe with us. It sounds like he's got it down pat. I love it. I love it. And sometimes people eat it just because he made it. If he took the time to do that, it's going to be good and everyone's going to love it. And that is always great. Now, I see right here, we're talking about a slow cooker, overnight slow cooker. Yeah, that is a thought. I'm assuming you're talking about the breakfast casserole to put something in there or one of your other dishes that you could put in. I know sometimes, not so much at Thanksgiving, but at Christmas, very often I have a potato casserole that I do that I will do in the slow cooker. So I just turn it down low and let it cook for during its 8 hours. So all of that goes into the slow cooker. So that's nice. One other thing, and seeing the word slow cooker made me think about this, is the fact that maybe you need additional slow cookers for your buffet. And let's face it, you don't want to have to go out and buy additional slow cookers. Maybe you need additional chairs in your house for the number of guests that you have. Now, this is what I do. I have a neighbor. She doesn't do thanks it's not that she doesn't celebrate Thanksgiving, but she does not prepare the meal. Her daughter always has Thanksgiving, so she goes to their house. So when she knows that I'm doing Thanksgiving, she brings, or will exchange, the fellas bring all of her dining room chairs over to my house, and any slow cookers that she has, they come over to my house because she knows she's not going to be using them. So then that gives me the opportunity to have additional slow cookers without having to buy a lot of slow cookers. Now, you saw I've got the two slow cookers and the rice cooker, and I use my rice cooker, for more than just rice. But when I'm having a really large crowd, it may be that I need additional slow cookers, especially if I'm going to put the wassail in a slow cooker. I'm going to do something else that may be in a slow cooker. Then, and sometimes it's hot chocolate that's in the slow cooker. Then, because of that, I can borrow a slow cooker from someone who's not going to be using theirs. And it's nice to be able to borrow chairs because she knows I'm going to take care of her chairs. I'm going to make sure they get back to her house safe and sound the following day. So we have done that over the years. And when she's having Christmas and I don't have to cook, then I lug all this stuff over to her house and we make that exchange. So there's always a way, you know, network, network so that you are not stuck trying to get it all and trying to buy it all. Um, oh, press on nails certainly have gotten better. She agrees with the mani pedi, but in a pinch, the press-ons have gotten better. Yes, they have. And I don't know the name of these press-on, but a friend of mine was talking about her daughter had a press-on nail party, and evidently there's a company that is kind of like oh, they go from house to house and they do these nails and they're press on, but they can last and stay in place for up to 2 weeks. But now, are they just a tiny bit pricey? Yeah, but they're press on nails, and so you can order a different variety of what you want. I think they have an online site where you can go and order whatever it is that you want, and that gives you an option. So, Google it if you decide that that's what you want to do, because they have gotten much better than what they used to be. It used to be as soon as you put them off, they were off. So thank goodness, we can certainly save ourselves if we don't have to go out you know, Denise is saying that she's going to see what she can make in her Ninja foodie grill. Absolutely. She said it might do the ham or something that usually takes up oven space. Oh, now that's a good idea. That's a real good idea. So if you've got one of those fryers, um, convection ovens, or any of those kind of things, you might be able to cook one of your other dishes in that particular oven. So, Denise, that's a great idea of being able to utilize that. And certainly, I think you could probably, excuse me, probably even warm up your pies and muffins and certainly have that opportunity. Oh, the apple pie muffins are delicious. And it was so cute yesterday when I was talking to this new homemaker. Well, she's not new, but she's pretty young. And she was saying that she's always wanted to make biscuits. And it was so funny because when she found how easy it was, and her hubby was so cute because he kept hovering around and waiting for them to come out of the refrigerator. And she was so proud of herself. And they did come out pretty. So, yes, you can freeze your biscuit dough. After you cut them out, put them into your Ziploc bag and bake them later. Bake them later. I do it all the time. And they come out perfectly. Think about this. When you go to the freezer section and you look at Grand's biscuits that come in the bag, that's exactly what they are. They are the biscuits that have been put together, that have been cut out, and they have been frozen so that they can go into those bags. Then you take them out, place them on your pan on parchment, and bake them, and they're perfect. They rise just like they're supposed to. It doesn't affect them at all. So that's an opportunity for something that you can have lots of good jellies and your softened butter and maybe some apple butter and whatever it is that you think would be good. You could even have some just sausage, breakfast sausage, and maybe some eggs off to the side, so that they could do a breakfast sandwich with the biscuits. That's opportunity and things that you can have all ready for your family for Thanksgiving morning. Um, Color Street nails. Okay, is a good long lasting option. That's for those. I think that's exactly, that sounds very familiar. So I think that is probably the name of the company. Now, Elizabeth, is that a company where they actually do the nail party? You can go from place to place and order your stick on nails. I think that's it. I think that's good. That's the one. I think that's the one. Some people use their patio to grill or to cook or to keep dishes hot. Certainly, depending upon what type of pan, if you're using those foil pans. I know I've done that where we've warmed up the grill and put the foil pans, whatever's in there's already cooked. I'm not really cooking it from scratch. I just need it to stay warm or to warm up so I can put it into the grill to be able to do that. Absolutely. Susan, You never knew that about the biscuits. Yeah, yeah. I do it all the time. When I'm making biscuits, I probably triple the recipe. And then that way, let's face it, we don't want to have to do that every week. And so then that way you have additional biscuits that's in your house that you can just go to. Say if you and your husband are getting up on a Saturday morning and you just want some, a nice biscuit and whatever bacon and whatever, then you can pop a fresh biscuit out, bake it, and it's done. And you didn't have to stop and make those biscuits. Oh, it's so good. Let's see. Her son's cranberry sauce. All right, here we got it, girls. Get your pen and pencil. It's a 12-ounce bag of fresh cranberries. I got those in my freezer. It's 3/4 cups of orange juice, 2/3 cup of brown sugar, 1/3 cup of sugar. You cook in a saucepan on medium high about 15 minutes. Wow. Wow. That is so easy. I like that. I like that. And that's quick and that's fresh. So that gives you an opportunity to have some nice, fresh made cranberry sauce. Thank you, Michelle. That's wonderful. Elizabeth said she's used the Grand's frozen biscuits for biscuits and gravy on Christmas morning. Yeah. So now you can make and freeze your own. You don't have to worry about Grand's. You got that. You got that. It's a piece of cake. Uh, she said, yes. She said they do the home parties, but she discovered them during COVID. So people were having parties online. Oh, now how did I miss out on that? But anyway, the lady, like I said, that I was talking to, her nails look so cute, and I thought, man, you paid a fortune to have all the she had these cute little designs on them. They were so cute. And I'm thinking, man, that's expensive because when you start getting into specialty things at your particular nail salon, that's when those dollars you just see them shooting out the door. So I never let them do that. I do let them polish because that goes along with the program, but I'm not doing any specialties for that. But her nails were so cute, and I found out they were press on. Denise, no water in the pot, and Michelle said no water. Okay, so we're gonna try that. We're gonna try that. Oh yeah, rest the night before. We have got to get our rest. I don't know about I'm at that point where if I don't rest prior to that holiday, about halfway through the day, it's like I hit a brick wall. And it's like all I can do to either number one, keep my eyes open, or number two, to have energy enough to finish up whatever needs to be done. So, your energy level. And I'm trying to make sure that I have the vitamins and all those good things, drink plenty of water, all those kind of things, all throughout the next few days to make sure that you are your best self by the time the holidays come. Now, Michelle said the cranberry sauce is a little more tart than canned, but the flavor is really good, really good. Some people don't like the high sweetness of the canned cranberry sauce, so I think this would be good. Uh, oh, Belle says that she loves the Dashing Diva nails. Ah, keep that in mind. Dashing Diva nails. I like that name, Dashing Divas. Okay. Oh, Denise says that she cooks her greens in the slow cooker. That's a good idea. Now, I cook them. I always cook them on the stove, then put them into the slow cooker, but I've never done them in the slow cooker. And what I did one year was the year I got my the pressure cooker, and I pressure cooked them. And while they were delicious, they were just a little overdone. So the slow cooker will probably be a good option to be able to do that. Don't pressure cook them, guys. Don't do that, because it really they're good, and they are tender. Needless to say, but that's just a little too much. So just keep that in mind. But that's another option for a slow cooker. And if you know of someone who's coming to your house, and maybe they're just a matter of a few miles away, then and they're not going to use their slow cooker, have them ask them if you can borrow one of their slow cookers. So are their slow cookers, so that you can use those that day. And I know I'm thinking of Denise. Denise has sisters that are fairly close that she could certainly ask them and say, "Hey, can I borrow your slow cookers? I'm going to be setting up this buffet, and I want to be able to keep everything nice and hot. Please, I'll either come by and pick up the slow cookers, a couple of days in advance, so I can use those." And oh, remind your guests now who are coming in to get their to-go containers. So when you get toward the end, and everybody wants that little touch of cranberry sauce, a little touch of dressing, little touch of gravy, whatever it is that they want, and you don't mind them taking out of that house, tell them to bring their container so that they can take it out and have that ready to go. I know we usually share, whatever it is that we have. And, because a big guy is not a big leftover person. So, because of that, we usually share. Now, I may keep a certain portion of turkey and dressing, but other than that, it all goes, I'm good with it all going out the door. I've seen it enough. Now, we have had quite a conversation today, and I can't wait. I'm going to try that cranberry sauce. So let your son know we're going to try that and see how it tastes, because it sounds like it's going to be delicious. The one that I make has the little mandarin oranges in it, or you can just use orange juice or whatever in it. And so, I just think the homemade stuff is a lot better and than the canned stuff, even though, as a kid, it was all about the can. And I like the whole berry cranberry sauce rather versus the other cranberry sauce. So keep all those good things in mind as you're preparing this week. This is a big week, and I want you to be ready. So stay tuned. There's going to be a newsletter coming at you with some reminders and some things to do throughout the next week, and some additional recipes that you may want to add into your repertoire over the next few days between now and Thanksgiving, that you can put together in 30 minutes or less. And while it's cooking, you're prepping something else, getting it going. Remember, we have to multitask while we're getting ready for the holiday. So I am so glad that all of you are here with me, and we are having a great time. Thanksgiving is coming, and it's going to be fun. So have a great time this week. Remember to take care of yourself, keep yourself well, and those of you who are recovering from, uh, excuse me, recovering from whatever it is that you may have, or if it's, a COVID situation and you are trying to get yourself back together, then just keep in mind that God is good and He will bring you through. So without further ado, I love that you've been here with me today, and I'm going to go get something hot to drink and see if I can pull this voice back together. And don't be at all surprised when you see if I pop on live later on this week to do some of my Thanksgiving things that I'm going to prepare in advance for Thanksgiving holiday. So I'll see you then. Much love to all of you. It's been great.